We have a little bit more on this lovely, lovely day as we enter a new time. And it's been a while that we've been moving to this 5D vibration. I found out about it, I think it was about 2006 or 7, maybe, that I began my journey, my first twin flame. And then I forget when it was, the second and third came about, but it was years after. In the meantime, I had learned about the timeline, which the 4D mystics continue to talk about as if we're in some type of, spiritual warfare. But the 4D mystic, as any 4D educator, is a person and or people who live the plane of so-called duality. That's why they're not in oneness consciousness, avatar consciousness, Christ consciousness. So let me explain though. 5D and this oneness consciousness means you have, like I do, an integrated brain. So left, the chit chatter, and right, where our nonverbal sensations, all things that come from our divine feminine, our body, come up. And the mind would be your divine masculine. I at least divide it up like that. And then your brain, left mode, is your masculine, right mode, your feminine. And I explain why in the longer podcast, but I won't do it here. So long story short, I was aware of when we would begin transitioning into the new societal culture, which in fact I was curious about. And lo and behold, thanks to the attachment and trauma-informed, lovely educators, I know exactly what this 5D societal culture is. And I have watched people who talk about 5D and beyond, but they are spiritual bypassers and within the spirituality soul age group. So on the other hand, I'm in the Enlightenment soul age group, the human way, and so I come to you with the explanation of what it is to, yes, be able and experience mysticism as a channeler, medium, Reiki practitioner, Akashic record reader, tarot card reader. I have tried scrying, but I haven't put in too much effort yet. So there's a lot of aspects that are amazing when you have a relationship with the sphere of space, energy, consciousness. It all depends who you're talking to. And that's why any of those who are in the duality plane, they are limited consciousness. So I had read that we would be in a moment in time where the different bandwidths would grow and separate. And I was like, I don't know about that one. But now I emotionally, mentally, and physically understand what it means. So it's called, those who have integration of the brain are in 5D plane, and that's because they see humanity and where we're going, and it's amazing. We have a human love narrative because we know about not distorting the truth based on our likes and dislikes, our implicit bias, our cultural bias, whatever it is. An inner adult lives in the present because they have the ability to self-regulate what is called their own nervous system and be meta-aware. Now, if you do mindfulness meditation and yoga, that helps your brain structure. And it helps you to put into practice your ventral vagal nervous system, because yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagus nervous system exercises, or vagal. Thank you, Stephen Porges, for that. And mindfulness meditation actually supports you to be meta-aware. So to be able to pay attention to your attention and then allow yourself to wield it. So once again, you can do yoga, inner engineering with Sadhguru and his Shambhavi Kriya and his Yoga of Grace. I've done those 3 personally. I loved every one of the experiences. If you did have a brain that got compromised as you began life, and therefore you were not given the ability to, one, in the first year of life, securely attached, well, yoga will help you. Now, if you have big trauma or small trauma, here's where we have a bigger equation, and no shaman will be able to give you the psych education of it. They will be able to give you stories Or, like Sadhguru, there's one of my favorite stories which explains exactly what a 5D educator and 5D mystic enlightenment soul age group is, a person, and it's a Zen master. And so in this story, the Zen master sees what at the time of the beginning of the story are disciples, which would be people that want to learn from the Zen master, right? But they're circling another one of the disciples, and it's a compulsive thief. If you learn anything about attachment and trauma, you learn about the shame cycle and inner critic, outer critic, and how the denying and suppression of emotions is done in this way. So inner and outer critic is rumination. You are in your temporal junction and not in your prefrontal cortex. You're not in a state of compassion. You're in a brain that has basically an alert going on, and your amygdala leads the way, and it uses your neuroplastic agent, imagination. And people who have been used to maintaining limited consciousness due to consistently staying in hypervigilance and what is pseudo-aliveness, and that's for many reasons we won't get into right now. So they're not in the 5D plane. They do not have integration of the brain. No, what they have is left mode, and right mode leads them to chaos or rigidity. No integration, no. What we have is potentially bilateral non-integration, which is where we find the 4D educators and anyone who's actually going to look at a mystic, enlightenment, functional adult like me and not say the words woo-woo pseudoscience because we're teasing like I can do with people who actually know healthy self-worth, because they and I have good conversations. No, the people who will mean it, and I will know because their nervous system will tell me, since they're not curious, open, aware, and accepting or loving, so they're not present. They don't know compassion. They actually only led themselves to their brainstem. And so I also know when I looked in their eyes, fear came up, and that I am more fortunate than they are, because what I have is my higher social functioning brain area. So I'm already technically smarter. Not because of regurgitation, though. No. I'm technically smarter because I don't have tainted glasses where I say, I'm right and you're wrong based on my 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old, and then my teenager and all the other ones before the teenager. No, I actually know what it's called to be consciously aware. Zen master story before we run out of time. So he approaches what are disciples at the beginning, and this is from Sadhguru's website that he shares the story. And that's what stories people use when they don't know what it means to be a functional adult. And so healthy self-worth, which is I'm not superior, inferior. I can speak to you about data, my story, my emotions, what I would like to see between us. And that's why we have relationships, no saga or drama. My twin flames and I, we have great conversations if we want to. Nobody's insulted ever anyone, none of my actual friends. And if I've ever been insulted, they're still friends. I know that they were upset. So I'm a shit, they're a shit. It's okay. I won't actually curse at people because I don't think that's funny. But I do curse on the podcast and here sometimes. But in the presence of people, I don't, because see, the thing is when you're a grown-up, when you're a Zen master, when you're a pure piece of consciousness, which is Purusha, unconditional love, Prakriti, pure energy, because my nervous system is in my Sud system state, and I'm using my prefrontal cortex, my official third eye right here. So I'm not blinded or blocked because of any of it. No, I know that I'm in front of a person, and my amygdala cares that you will be heard. Because see, I'm present. I'm curious, open, aware, accepting, loving, because you don't have a weapon in your hand. You're a person in front of me. You're not anything different. So my thoughts and feelings are I'm differentiated than you, and I want to hear what you have to say. So I tune to you and resonate, and then I can also trust. That's participating, and I'm present. So long story short, the people are not here. They circle the thief. They want the Zen master to kick the thief out. The compulsive thief is a person who has trauma, and the Zen master says, no, you have to forgive them 3 times until we find out, oh, these are non-disciples. So like anybody who says they are smart or want to support humanity, but they're not in the 5D plane because they're criticizing humanity, stay away from negative people, basically. They have a problem for every solution, and the human suffering narrative, the human suffering love narrative, they live Drama, the human love, we live, smarts and emotional maturity, direct communication. So our relationships, it's all about conscious lovers, polyamory, monoamory, 5D mystics, and our lovely functional adults, all of it. Tune in.